All right, y'all. So I saw a clip of former hot boy Turk being interviewed on the Drink Champs podcast, right? And Turk spoke on this rumor of Gillie the Kid. Y'all know Gillie. Gillie of the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast. There was always this rumor that Gillie wrote for Lil Wayne at some point in his career. And it is around the time that Gillie was signed to Cash Money, right? And so Turk decided to speak on the rumor. And he said this. He said, you ain't right for no Lil Wayne. And I stand on that. Shawty been doing this shit. You a clout chaser. Now talk about that. And don't say I'm clout chasing. I stand on that. Turk. With all due respect, Turk, you wasn't even there when Gillie was given a sauce to Wayne and Cash Money. Turk wasn't even around. He was nowhere to be found. So how the hell do he know what was happening within the Cash Money camp? You wasn't even there, bro. So how can you speak on that, right? And I'm gonna say this, man. I stand on this. I believe that Gillie did write some lyrics for Wayne. I believe he did do some writing for Wayne around the time that the Carter One came out. And I don't doubt that at all, right? I'm not saying he wrote all the lyrics for the Carter One. I'm not saying that. But I do believe he wrote some lyrics for Wayne, right? And I believe that Wayne was heavily influenced by Gillie around the time that the Carter One came out. Without question, he was heavily influenced by Gillie's rapping style. And you can hear it when you listen to the music. There's not a doubt in my mind. Now, a lot of the Lil Wayne fanatics are going to be upset that I said that. They're going to be in denial. They're going to say I'm lying because, Gillie ain't never had a hit himself, so on and so forth. And Wayne don't need no writers. He come off the dome. Say that all you want to. But when you listen to the way Wayne was rapping during the 500 Degrees era, and you listen to the Carter One, you can't tell me there is a strong difference in the delivery, the cadence, the flow. So the way he was sounding, it was completely different. He wasn't wobbly, 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 drop it like it's hot. I'm wheezy for cheesy. He wasn't doing that on the Carter One like he was doing on 500 Degrees and all of that. It was a completely different sound. And again, listen carefully, Wayne fans. Wayne fanatics, listen carefully. I'm not saying that Gillie made Wayne who he is or what he became. I'm not saying that Gillie made him a legend because he didn't, right? I'm not saying that Gillie made Wayne hot. I'm not saying he made him the hottest rapper in the game because Wayne was his hottest from 2006 to 2011 during the time when Gillie wasn't even in the Cash Money camp at all. I'm just saying that during the Carter One era, Wayne got a lot of his style, cadence, and flow from Gillie, for sure. And I believe he got some lyrics from Gillie too, right? Like I said before, listen to 500 Degrees and then go listen to the Carter One. Completely different sound. Listen to any one of Gillie's songs. Listen to a Gillie freestyle. Listen to Gillie rapping. And then go listen to Go DJ. And tell me you don't hear similarities in flow and cadence and delivery. You hear the similarity in the flow, cadence, all of that. Listen, and then they want to leave when you say you out of mustard. That's Gillie. That Gillie rap like that. Wayne wasn't rapping like that. And I'm talking about don't attribute it to maturation because it wasn't no maturation. That was the Gillie sound, the whole sound. Even on Birdman Jr. Make him feel it escalades. Make him feel it escalade. Put his feet in the blades. Damn. That ain't Wayne. Wayne wasn't doing that. Damn. Put his feet in the blade. That's Gillie. You can hear it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just don't want to hear it because y'all love Wayne so much. You think he can do no wrong. That's the same reason y'all make all the excuses for the cooning Wayne ass used to be doing. Y'all make excuses for all the coon shit he was doing because y'all love him and y'all are more fans of men than fans of facts and reasoning and logic, right? But when you hear it, it's clear, man. Gillie wrote and influenced Wayne a lot on that album. Listen to again. Birdman Jr. They say I'm slight bananas. I blow a weekend in Havana in my cabana with my bottom bitch from Savannah. That's Gillie. Wayne wasn't doing that before then, man. What'd he say? Even though, man, I miss my dogs. Even in the opening, just a little lines when he's talking. This is the Carter motherfucker. That's what? Wayne wasn't doing that before then. That whole album, if you ask me, I'm listening to the flow. That whole album could have been Gillie album featuring Wayne. Because the way the similarities in the flow and the cadence and delivery, it was all there. It was all there. Now, again, I'm sure Gillie ain't write all them lyrics. And Wayne wrote them lyrics. He wrote some of them lyrics. He could have wrote a nice amount of it for sure. But you can't tell me Gillie wasn't giving him some of his pen. He wasn't giving him some of the lines to say. He wasn't feeding him lines. Gillie didn't write that whole album for sure. I don't think that, but he was giving him lines for damn sure. Because certain stuff Wayne wasn't even thinking about saying. And 500 Degrees was on that Carter 1 album. Certain stuff that wasn't even the New Orleans flavor, a style, a sound. And Wayne didn't have that. It came on a Carter 1. And that was the sauce from Gillie. I feel like oozing on that album. Again, then they want to leave when you say you by the mustard. Come on. That's whole Gillie, whole delivery and setup. His whole rhyme scheme like that. And I see people doubting that Gillie could ever write something for the legendary Lil Wayne, right? And they use this as their talking point for their doubt. They say stuff like, they say Gillie wrote for Wayne, but he couldn't write a hit for himself. So how the hell he write for Wayne? He didn't even write his own. He couldn't even write his own hit. He couldn't even come up with his own hit. Do y'all know that some of the best songwriters in the world never had their own hits? Some of the greatest songwriters in the world could never make their own hits. They were well at they were good at putting it together on pen and pad. And they could tell an artist exactly how to say it, right? And how to deliver it, but they just could never sound the same. Those lyrics couldn't sound the same coming from that writer, right? They could write a song, write some lyrics down on a pen and pad. They can tell the artist how to deliver it, but it just would never sound the same coming from the writer. The performer of the lyrics, in this case Wayne, had the je ne sais quoi, the aura about him that makes those lines deliver or hit harder. Wayne did, right? He had the star power that made those lyrics stand out more than the writer himself, who I think in this case, and at some points on the Carter album, was Gillie. He had more star power. He had a bigger aura. He had a bigger je ne sais quoi. He had a different type of swagger that can make those lines stick harder. But you can't lie, you can't tell me he didn't get that cadence, that flow, delivery, all that from Gillie, right? So when people say, oh, he couldn't write a hit for himself, that's a weak argument for me. Because a lot of the great songwriters could never make a hit for themselves. They were great at telling an artist how to deliver rhymes and how to write it down. Quentin Miller could do that. Quentin Miller could write stuff for Drake, and Drake could make it sound immaculate. He could write it word for word, and Drake could say it word for word and make that shit sound magical. But Quentin Miller could never go in the booth and deliver it the same way Drake could. It wouldn't be able to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Gillie could have wrote Go DJ word for word, and it wouldn't do half of the numbers that Wayne did, that it did with Wayne. It wouldn't do half of those numbers because Wayne had the aura, the swagger in the ears of the public to make those lines more impactful. And Gillie never had the ears of the public and the aura around him as a rapper to make those lines hit harder and make it more convincing the way Wayne could. And it boils down to that. Carrie Hilson can write a song for Beyonce, and it would hit way harder than it ever could coming from Carrie. Now, Carrie was a successful artist in her own right as a solo artist, and Gillie wasn't a successful solo artist. But I'm saying in music in general, Quentin Miller, he could write a song and Drake could hear that and be making that shit sound like gold. Oh my God, when I die, I'm a legend. Or they started from the bottom. He could have wrote it all. He could have wrote all that 10 bands. He could have wrote all of that. And Quentin could say that same lyrics. It could come from Quentin himself, and it wouldn't be believable. It wouldn't sell people. But Drake could say it in a way that he got the swagger, the aura, and charisma to deliver it in a way where you like, damn, that sound good, right? You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. That doesn't, just because Gillie never had because Gillie never had a hit for himself, I'm stuttering and stuff. Just because Gillie never had his own hit does not mean he never wrote for Wayne. Just because Gillie never had his own hit does not mean he didn't write for Wayne. You see it in music with a lot of artists, man. A lot of these great songwriters are guys you never heard of. The Dream could write a song for Rihanna like Umbrella. It wouldn't sound, The Dream made great music. The Dream was a great artist. The Dream had some great songs, but it ain't gonna sound the same if it came from it wouldn't sound the same like it would coming from Usher, coming from Rihanna, coming from Beyonce. You know what I mean? Even Neo, who's a great artist, Certain songs he could never make it sound as impactful as a Beyonce at sometimes, right? And that's a bad example because Neo was a certified great artist. The Dream was a great artist. But certain people, you know, Quentin Miller, Gillie them, they can write some stuff down on pen and pad. Even 7th Streeter could write some stuff that's fire. That it still wouldn't deliver the same way if it came from 7 instead of Chris Brown, who she gave some of her songs to, who she wrote songs for. Chris could make it sounds way more convincing and way more not authentic, but way more believable. It captivates an audience more if it comes from Chris Brown versus 7th Streeter. And that's what it is, man. But I believe Gillie wrote for Wayne without question during that Carter 1 era. Machiavelli Mills TV, I'm out. Peace.